Hi, this is Melanie from Pardesi Reviews, and I'm here with my review of the film V, starring Nani and Sudheer. If you're new to Pardesi Reviews, I do trailer reactions and film reviews of Indian cinema. This is Nani's 25th film. This is his third film with director Mohan Krishna Indraganti. If you have not seen my interview with Mohan, I highly recommend. We talk about his first film with Nani, Ashachama, where he discovered him from seeing him through auditions and an ad. And we talked about the film Gentleman, which I still don't understand because the subtitles were so bad. But anyway, I have been excited. It seems like Mohan, well, he told me Mohan does almost a different kind of film each time. He is not pigeonholed in only action or only romantic comedies or, only dark films. He really mixes it up. But he talked about narrating the script to Nani, who had a broken nose from Jersey at the time. But anyway, he narrated the story, and then Nani said to him, well, who do you want me to play? And Mohan said, I want you to play the bad guy. And so I haven't seen every one of Nani's films, but I think this is the first time I've ever seen him in such a negative role. Now, like Mohan didn't give any spoilers, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to have a spoiler-free section here at the beginning because the film has literally just come out. And maybe I'll have a few spoiler comments at the very end, but I will let you know when I get into that. Because even saying what roles the lead actresses have is a spoiler. So there's, besides Sudheer Babu, who plays a cop, and Nani, who plays a psychopath, we have Aditi Hydari, who I adore, and Nivetha, who was so quirky and fun in this film. So they both have pivotal roles in the narrative, but I'm not even going to tell you who's paired with who. I mean, other people may be spoiling that, but I didn't know, what role they would have in the two male characters' lives until we got into the film. Now, one thing that was interesting is that our very first hero introduction, we see Sudheer's first, and he has a dramatic, it's a riot, and there's Molotov cocktails being thrown, and he's just in the middle of it, and at one point somebody slashes his shirt and he just rips his whole uniform off. I know Mohan put that scene in just for me. Oh man. So Sudheer gets the big hero entryway right at the beginning, and then I actually stopped it to see where we were, how many minutes in. We hear Nani's voice at about 14 minutes in, and we don't actually see him until about 25 minutes in. So there's a lot of setup. I mean, his character has acted, has done things. It's just that we don't see him. It's the same. It's the image kind of from the teaser where he's smoking the cigarette and all the smoke is around his face. So it was really wild to see Nani playing this negative character. There's a particular scene where he's on a bus and a train at different times, and he's talking to the people who are his seatmates, and he just kind of glorifies in scaring them by saying, oh, well, I'm a contract killer or whatever, and like really getting them scared, and then like, oh, it's just a joke, but then he does this evil laugh. Like, it's really creepy. And I will caution, even right from the very first 10 minutes or so, there is some gruesomeness, because this is about somebody that kills people. And so I mean, if you have a 10-year-old or whatever that's squeamish about pools of blood or seeing somebody's neck cut, I'm sort of curious if, because it was going straight to Amazon, they circumvented certain things that they might have had to cut for censors. I would be fascinated to ask that question now that I have seen it, of Mohan and the filmmakers, and wondering you know, what they were allowed to keep in because it was on Amazon. Mohan told me that they really played with the lighting levels and the contrast, realizing that people were going to be watching this film on illuminated screens like cell phones or laptops. I was watching it on my big TV, and let me tell you, it was so lit gorgeously. Just I really, it was the kind of film where I was actually noticing how well lit everybody, how good everybody looked, how the contrast looked so good on everybody. They took extra special care. And the moment when Aditi Hydari appears on screen, oh my God, like the character said, I wrote it down because it was such a great line. A character says about her, "How can she be so unfairly and insanely beautiful?" Thank you, Rakes, for that translation. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the subtitles are awesome because Rakes did them, which meant all the songs rhymed and everything. The story itself, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but we know we have a cop after a killer. But there's, of course, a backstory on why the killer is the killer, and yeah, so I don't want to get into all of that. But it's a cat and mouse through much of the film of somebody, you know, the kind of killer that leaves clues and sort of wants to put the police on a merry chase after him. So very engaging. Like, just from the opening moments, I was just like, wow, because some of the action scenes I thought looked so cool. There's several different locations. As Mohan told me, they did it, I think, in 5 states in India, including, you know, there's scenes in Mumbai, there's a scene in Goa. They filmed in Thailand, a huge sequence in Thailand, a climatic sequence there. So really, you can see the money on the screen. Let me just put it that way, from all the different location shoots. It's just gorgeously shot. And I was really engaged through the whole film. So I have seen just headlines of other reviews saying in some way it was predictable, but I didn't completely see where it was going and sort of the full backstory of, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. But I would just tell you, it was so exciting to watch such a big action movie at home, okay? Because I've just been starving to go to the movies and see new content. I'm not going to the theaters. I'm not going to see Christopher Nolan's Tenet. And wow, it was just awesome to see something that wasn't really made for the small screen. That, I mean, I got a pretty big TV, so it was just awesome to just have something this big and action focused and thriller and all of those elements together. There is a couple of little romantic stories, but it's not the focus so much of the film. But those scenes I really enjoyed as well. Gosh, okay. I would just, before I get to the spoiler section, because again, I don't even want to say who's paired with who or whatever, because it kind of spoils things, but I really enjoyed the way that Nivetha's character especially was written. Mohan talked about how she says, if I don't see, you know, I have to see blood at least once a day. She was delightfully quirky and different. And she even jokes, like, I'm not the kind who just look up adoringly and say, when are you going to marry me? So there's a lot of playfulness. Different characters talk about films. And they kind of, even Nani is in one scene and says to the person next to him, do you think you're in an action movie by a certain director? Like, no, that's real life. This is real life. I just love the playfulness of talking about films and talking about our relationship with films through the whole thing. It was just kind of a fun little Easter egg for me through the whole movie. Okay, so as you can hear in my voice, I really enjoyed it. I think it was just a super fun, as Mohan said, it's a super fun popcorn flick to watch this weekend. It's a holiday weekend here in the States, so everybody grab your popcorn and watch this at home, with, but maybe not with the littlest ones. Okay, now I'm going to get into a spoiler section. I thought Sudheer and Nivetha were just really sweet together, in especially their initial flirty scene, and I just loved their interactions. It wasn't like the main focus of the film. This is an action thriller, mystery, whatever, right? But the scenes that were there, I thought were just delightful. I loved, again, as I said, just loved the way her character was written. Sudheer, I think he is just made for an action movie like this. He looked incredible in the first scene when he's fighting off all the bad guys and ripping his shirt off. But it was great to see him opposite Nani because they're so different. Nani's style is much more flamboyant and playing to the audience, and I don't know. Sudheer, Mohan, the director, described as being a method actor and just being very different than Nani's style. And I think that made for the chemistry of the film, because it's not just about chemistry with the actresses, it's the chemistry between Nani and Sudheer that really makes this film. And it was exciting to have two such good actors opposite each other like that. Nani, I thought, was great. When we find out his full backstory, oh my gosh, scene with Aditi Hydari when they meet. Oh, so adorable. So he gets some really great action sequences, like the flashback when he's a soldier, and then that final sequence in Thailand. Wow. Like, those were amazing. I'm still not sure how I feel about Nani, like, having that evil laugh on the train and the bus. Like, it was sort of like when Robin Williams did the serial killer movie. Like, it's like, no. There's just that disconnect. So, but I thought he did a really good job, but it's like, I don't know I would be interested to know if you felt the same way, if you were just like, oh, it was exciting to see him something different, or you were like, it didn't work for me because I only see him as this nice next guy from next door. I thought he did a good job, but it was still kind of hard, like the evil laugh. So overall, I really enjoyed the film. Love to know what you thought about it. If you thought the whole revenge backstory was worth everything that he did. I'm finding it a little troubling, all of these super cops that just kill the bad guys instead of letting it go through the legal process. I understand the feeling, but it's like I still kind of have an issue with that, especially because of all the things that are going on in the U.S. right now with cops killing people and not just arresting them. So it's kind of a hot button issue here in the States. So that's kind of coloring, I think, part of my reaction to the reveal at the end in the very last scenes. Anyway, really enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at PardesiYT. Subscribe here to Pardesi Reviews. And if you hit the bell when you subscribe, you'll never miss another trailer reaction or film review.